What's up, guys? Chasing Laney here for episode number 1 or 0 or whatever you want to call it of the world's hardest Hexagon challenge. For those of you who didn't see the announcement video, what that means is we're going to start unemployed and we can only manage clubs in nations that have never qualified for the World Cup. We have to try and win all of the European, African, Asian, etc. continental club tournaments. We then have to take over some international teams or try and do it on the way and win the Euros and their equivalents on those continents. And then we're going to try and win the World Cup and the World Club Cup. And like I said, we can only manage teams from nations who have never played at a World Cup finals. This is going to be an intense, long-term challenge. But in today's episode, we are going to have to try and find ourselves a job. We're going to start unemployed. No badges, no job, no hope, and see where we end up. So, hit like, subscribe to get along for the journey, and I'll see you on the other side of the intro, which I'll hopefully have made something for by the time we get to whatever's going on with the editing. You'll see. Anyway, see you on the other side. So after that no doubt thrilling intro, welcome back, and this is where we find ourselves as we head into the start of this series. So we are starting in December 2021 because I thought the best place to start our little journey would be in Finland. So I set the game up to start at the beginning of the Finnish season, and there are no jobs available in Finland. So we're going to go on a job hunt, and going on a job hunt is always fun, especially when you consider we really can't go anywhere major in Europe. So I ignored the South African and the Congolese teams. By the way, I forgot to put those on view only. They were just there to make up extra players into the African side of the database. We can go to Belarus, we can go to Armenia, Venezuela, we can go to Lithuania, Luxembourg, Albania, Thailand, I think it's El Salvador, Estonia, Guatemala, all over the place. So I'm going to throw in some applications for some jobs, and I will come back as and when we get interviews and stuff, and we can have a little look and see where we might end up. I think that's probably the best thing, because otherwise I'm going to be sat here just clicking on apply for job over and over. And as you can see, apologies to anyone who gets affected by this, but if you have a little look as I go down, there are a lot of jobs in a lot of countries that are available, and I need to work out where it is we want to start our career and where it is we want to be managing. So we're going to do a little time jump now, and we will come back once I finally start getting some interviews. So before we move on and see what interviews we actually get, I thought I'd do a quick rundown on and show you who, what teams, what nations I've applied to manage, so we can have a little look at what might be coming up. So first up was Shakhtar Soligorsk, who are one of the biggest teams in Belarus. If we have a look through their landmarks, competitions, there we go. They have won the top league in Belarus twice. They've been runners-up 6 times, third 8 times. They've won a bunch of stuff in Belarus. They've had quite a long history. I can't remember how to show you the trophy things. There you go. There are trophies. They've been doing pretty well over the last few years, including, I think, winning the title last year. Did they win the title last year in the Belarus Bank? Vysheshaya? Yes, they did. So that could be an interesting place for us to end up. If we can get a Champions League berth straight away with our first club, that will help us out. I also applied for Caracas in Venezuela. This is the top league of Venezuelan football. A trip to Caracas, the capital. This one appeals to me, A, because obviously it is the capital, B, because we have to manage in Venezuela at some point. I didn't look at the league rules, but 4 foreign players in the starting 11 makes this a real challenge too, especially because they've got 2 and they're probably not great players. I did put the fog of war on. Good, I remember to do that. Yeah, I can't imagine they're great players if they're playing in Venezuela. There's also no money in Venezuela, so that'll be an interesting challenge should we end up there. Jezero, I don't know. We'll go with Jezero Plav in Montenegro. They are, I think that's the top division of Montenegro. I think it's the second division. Oh, it is the top division of Montenegro. Yeah, shows what I know about these leagues we're going to. Again, they're not a great side, they're not a big side, but they do have an Australian, so there's a decent chance I can talk to someone whilst we're there, which is nice. So that was Montenegro's big option. Saduva in Lithuania's League A, which I believe is the second. Is it the second tier of Lithuanian football? It's the top. It's the one that has League A and then League One. Don't ask. They've been multi-time champions though of Lithuania, and they've got a pretty strong squad in terms of the league rules to worry about. It is a 5 non-EU players, 4 players trained in Lithuania for 3 years before their 21st birthday, which I guess is something we can work with if we need to. But having the option of EU players is going to be very, very helpful should we end up in Saduva Marijampol. We can go to Fola Esch, who are one of the biggest teams in Luxembourg, which I guess says it all. They have some interesting rules I seem to remember in Luxembourg. I don't know what it is with the home club. I think it's a registration thing, but obviously it's the EU. You can bring in anyone you like. In terms of their club history, they've won the league 9 times in their history. They're a pretty big deal in Luxembourg, so we could be ending up, I told you, we're going to end up in some weird countries this year. We've got 2 applications in Albania, one at Apollonia Fear, who have won the league once. I think that's the cup. They've won the cup once. So there's that as an option as well. Or we have the option of going to Lushnia, who don't know what they've won. Let's have a little look. They've won the top flight once, but it wasn't any time in recent memory. Let's see when that was. Probably a while ago, looking at that. 2013. There we go. So they have been the champions of Albania, so that could be an option for us. We also have FCI Lebadia, who are the current champions of Estonia. Another chance at the Champions League. They have won the top league in Estonia 10 times. They've won the Estonian Cup 10 times, the Super Cup 7 times. I think the Esiliga is the one below as well. So they've been fairly successful. There's no money at any of these teams, by the way. We are going to be very much scrabbling to survive, and thus the challenge. Patara in the second division or second tier of Venezuelan football. They have a lovely orange kit. They have a pretty nice looking squad of local players, and they can still only have 4 foreign players in the starting 11. But realistically, how many foreign players are you getting there? They've won the top flight twice though, so they've got some history. When was the last time they did that? 1999 as Deportivo Ital Chaco. They've also been Deportivo Italia. Sure, if we end up there, I'm going to have to look into the history of that club, because that sounds interesting. Karadag in the top flight of Azerbaijani football is another of our European options. They have the squad of dreams. 10 whole players. And are their competition rules going to say you can't have any foreign players? They're not. So we may end up in Azerbaijan, which could be interesting. So I've applied for that job there. We'll go through the rest quickly because there's not a lot of excitement beyond that. Ordino in the Andorran top flight, I think that is. The Liga Montessori. Yes. So top flight of Andorra with Ordino. The top flight, I believe, of Cyprus, the Diphtheric categoria. No, second tier. So there we have Atelos in Cyprus as an option. We also have Casa Estrella del Benfica in the third tier at Andorra, easily the smallest team I applied for. I like the fact their team is literally called Football Club Home Stars of Benfica. So I'm guessing they were set up by a Benfica fan. They have not a single player on their books, which excites me because I can just build something beautiful and there's no limit on the number of foreign players I can have, which means we could do a long-term build there. Also on the international front, I have gone for Cyprus under 21s, Botswana, Zimbabwe and Pakistan just to see if we can get an international job. So, stick around and we'll see what happens when the interviews start coming in, see what we get offered. So, we could be about to learn an important lesson here. I've been offered jobs by Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Pakistan. Now, I don't know if I really want any of these jobs at international level, but I'm also very aware that we should take one at some stage. If we look at the Pakistan team, I'm going to boldly say there's probably not a lot there to get excited about. I need to remember how to look at this with the club view on. I'm sure there's a version of this that lets me look at it with the club they play for on, but I can't. Let's just go to the overview screen because I know I can find it there. There's no one there who plays for a big nation, a big club, which means there's not a lot to build around. Zimbabwe, there's Marvellous Nakamba at Aston Villa. There's Teenage Hadibi, which is an incredible name, 2 incredible names. Knowledge Masona. I mean, this decision looks like it's making itself, doesn't it, really? But also there's the Zimbabwe problem of they don't have a terribly stable, friendly government. Some of these names. Hard Lives for Qui, Honest Moyo. I know Jordan Zamora. I've managed him this season. He plays for Bournemouth. I know who he is. Talent Chawa Piwa. Where's he playing? Kasrik Stars. I almost want to manage them purely because these names are fantastic. Good times. What about Botswana? Botswana are offering the most money, which tells me they've probably got the best team. None of their players seem to play for big clubs, so that's interesting. There's no one worth a lot of money. I don't know if I want to. I think we're going to reject these ones. I know I applied for them. I think we're going to reject them purely because I think I want to build up an African nation into something a bit more fearsome before I take those jobs. And same with Pakistan. I'd like to take an Asian club and build something special there first. If it had been a European job, I think I'd be more inclined to take it because you've always got players who are going to be moving around. There's a lot more money there. It's easier to get them up to where we need to be in terms of the continental stuff. So I'm going to turn those down for now, and we're going to come back and see what else we can get offered. So it looks like Sudaba don't want us because we didn't make the short list, and that's okay. Jureso Plab also same thing. They didn't know if we could deliver for their future. Ordino, I forgot where Ordino is already. Ordino was the top flight Andorran side who played in black, which makes me quite excited. Let's have a little look and see what's going on there. No matchday rules. This could be an interesting one because they've got to be. Let's have a look at their history quick. They've got to be in with a chance of winning something. They have won the Liga Biosphere, which is an incredible name, 3 times. I don't know what the Liga Biosphere is, which makes me slightly nervous. It's at the league below this one. Okay, so they're pretty new to where they are, but they've also only existed for 11 years at this point. I think we'll give this interview a go. We'll see what we can do, because we can always build up from Andorra. That's not a huge issue. Also, I haven't got Gibraltar loaded, I should point out, because for some reason the league isn't working. So we'll do the interview. We won't do all the interviews we get, because they take forever, and they're not terribly interesting after about the 3rd one. Hello, Jason. We invited you along today so you can put forward our vision for the club and allow your sister. I feel like you'd be speaking Spanish. Great to be here. Let's get started. Don't think there's something to worry about. Yo hablo español. ¿Por qué? Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for? Because I want to do whatever I can. Do you know, I think it's going to be I'm doing whatever I can to keep progressing. I want to repeat our last manager we had to part company with earlier than expected. He is going to be around for a while. Yeah, I'll tell them I'm going to commit to a long career with the club. Probably won't happen, but we'll see how that goes. The board culture is to sign the 23 players for the team, work within the wage. They've got a wage budget? Madness. I think I can build that future. That's fine. Exceed it. Want to avoid relegation? I think I can avoid the drop. That's going to be achievable. Proposed transfer budget of 6. Oh, that's the big money. I reckon I can take that. And the wage budget of $3,500 a week. I'm going to say I'll take it because why not? Any requests? Not at all. That should be good. Thank you for attending the interview. Thank you for interviewing us. So that is the Ordino job interview out of the way. Is anyone else going to come in for us though? That is the big question. So more news is that Apollonia have said that they don't want us. Fola Esch are offering a job interview. Remember, they're a big deal in Luxembourg. I've invited you for let's just go through this and see what happens. I'm not being able to speak the language. That's absolutely fine. You're up for a few jobs right now. You're heading your bets, just trying to get my career on the run. Are you happy with Director of Football? Absolutely. Oh, why not? Vision for the future, under 23 players within the wage budget, maximum 1-year contracts for players aged over 34. Those are all things I can handle. 5-year plan, avoid relegation, be competitive in the cup, become established. We've all won this thing a few times. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Should you be hired, you can avoid. I think we can avoid automatic relegation. £156,000 of France in Luxembourg. In Luxembourg, yes. Wage budget of 60. Sure, we'll make it work. We'll just shifty some stuff around. No requests. Let's just carry on. See what we get. That will be a good job. 156,000. The Youth Revolution. Oh, what a name for a club. Maldives club. Youth Revolution. Levadia. They were the Estonian champions. Ooh, the Champions League could be calling us in our first job. That's a nice boardroom. Let's get down to business with this one. Let's see what happens. Nobody speaks Estonian, buddy. It's not a real language. If you're watching this and you're Estonian and I take this job and you've gone back to see what happened, it was a joke. I know it's a real language. It's a beautiful language. Let's tell the forge ahead. Yes, I can work with Tamo King. What a name. Right, backroom staff. What sort of budget would we be looking for to make changes? I think I will say a small budget, just to be sure. Right, the club's vision for the future. Sign players under 23. Don't sign players over 30. Work with the wage budget. Grow the reputation. 1-year contracts for players over 34. 2-year contracts for first-team players. End of current season. Win the Premium Liga. And be competitive in the Este Supercaritas, which I guess is the Super Cup. They just want trophies. Absolutely. We would expect... Sure, we can do that. Transfer budget. Oh, it's going up. 215k on the transfer budget. 12 grand a week. I mean, Levadia are looking like a very, very good option. I've got to be honest. If we can get that job, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cheddar. Also, I've just realised it recommended me a bunch of jobs, and I wasn't really paying attention, but it's just recommended me a bunch of jobs. So we'll have a look through that email in a second just to see what is here. And see where we're at. £7,000, that must be some good money at this club in Lebanon. What players earning there? I mean, there's a max of 3 foreign players and there's 4 in the squad, so that'd be something I'd have to fix straight away. Any of these guys played for a big club? I feel like I know the name Dennis Teta, and I don't know why. I don't know why I know that name. Patrick Borden of Slovenia. He played for Tre Fiori in San Marino. What a career. I don't think I want that job. That seems like a really tough place to start. What else have we got here? I don't want to take that one because £350 a week in French Guiana. The French Guiana play in the South American Watsy Doodle Bogs? You know what I mean? Do they play in the World Cup qualifiers? Can they qualify for a World Cup? Or is that not a thing? I don't know. Let's have a little look. Caribbean Championship. Oh, this is one of those weird ones where they're a member of the North American Confederation, but French Guiana is, I think, on the north coast of South America. Sure it is. That's interesting. Not interesting enough to get me to take the job, but interesting. We'll bear that in mind. There wouldn't be a first choice place to end up, but we'll bear that in mind because that could be an interesting build. Rapa United have got a manager's job going. They are in Botswana. Anything there of note that I should worry about? It's not great wages there for anyone. Wanted by Police FC. Okay. Good wage budget, but no. Penang FC. A 19k wage bill in Malaysia. Probably means they've got some cash to spend. Let's have a look at their league rules very quickly, just so I know what I'd be getting myself into. 4 foreign players, 3 foreigners, not including Asian players, and they've already got 6 foreign players in the squad, and that's taking up a lot of their wage bill. So we're going to say no. Cool. Well, it's nice that we had that thing there to look at, and we'll carry on trying to find the perfect job for us. Well, disappointingly, we have not got the Apollonia board, they've appointed the same manager that left recently, I guess. Caracas don't want us. Casa Estrella del Benfica, this was the team in Andorra's 3rd division that I was quite excited by. This would be a good place to start our career. We still speak Spanish, guys. We're forging ahead. Strive to make progress on off the pitch. No informational objectives. Just be competitive in the cup and maintain a League 3 top half finish. Cool. Yeah, sounds easy. No expectations. Budgets to be set up should you be hired. Okay. No requests. Good. I don't think you tried very hard in that interview. The other Benfica of Macau have brought Danny Pinto back. We haven't got the Atelas job, which is disappointing. Karadag is the Azerbaijani job we look for. Okay, let's see if they can offer us anything special. We'll figure out the language. It's Russian, I think. Up for a few jobs, forging ahead, yada yada yada. Limited resources. Oh, that's going to be painful. Work with the wage budget, make progress on and off the pitch. What do they want us to do in the league? Avoid relegation, be competitive in the cup, walk towards being a top division team. Continue being... Okay, cool. We'll take a look at that. I think we'll say we can avoid relegation. Proposed wage budget is $7,000 a week. It's not the worst. Anything to consider? Not that I would think of. Thank you very much. Cheers, boys. Let's move on to the Patara job interview. I can't remember where they were from. Venezuela. Okay, our chance at Venezuela. This is our only chance at Venezuela. So let's have a little look, see what we can do here. I don't know how we made that flight over that quickly, but there you go. I need to put that in my profile, so I do speak Spanish. Appear in the running for a few jobs, trying to forge ahead. Repeat our last manager. We'd stay for a long time. Beautiful stuff. Right backroom team in place, we'll just say small changes because that scares people less. Work within the wage budget, make progress on off the pitch. 1-year contracts for players over the 30 to 32. I mean, I wouldn't be signing anyway. Finish mid-table in the Segunda División. Yeah, that sounds like fun. No expectations in the current season. Okay, let's move on. Anything to request? Should we hire you? No. I don't think you mentioned money at all in that interview. That's a little bit disturbing. I'm set to take over at Casa de Estrella del Benfica following an interview, apparently. That's interesting because I had not put a lot of thought into that. Do I have any comments to make at this time? I am intrigued by the prospect. Let's say that. We're intrigued by the prospect. See if we can improve our chances of getting that job. It's not like the most glamorous first job, but we like going places that are random, and if we can go to Andorra's 3rd tier, I think that'd be the smallest club ever attempted in an FM YouTube save. Actually, I say that, my first save, you go right back to the beginning of my channel, about 500 videos ago, you'll see that The first series I did on this save was with Shepherds United of Vanuatu, so maybe not the smallest club ever attempted on YouTube. Gus Hiddink has been unveiled as the new Northern Ireland manager, and Dick Advocaat has been unveiled as the new New Zealand manager. That's weird. That's really odd. Two of the best Dutch managers taking international jobs you definitely think, with all respect to those nations, they would never consider. Weird. So I came back to a massive pile of emails, and FC Ordino have offered us the job as manager. They were the team in Andorra's top flight, and that was a very, very appealing option for us. I don't think there's any league rules to worry about. Let's have a little look at the league. Before we take this job, before we do something really stupid and take this job, 143rd best league in the world. I don't even know where that works out. Let's have a little look in terms of continental reputation. 143rd in the world. Where is the highest league we've got open? The Cypriot League is the highest league available to us in the game, which is 23rd in the world. I don't think there's anyone above that who jumps out at me as having never played in a World Cup. Below them would be Azerbaijan, and we did have an offer from Azerbaijan. We're going to delay this because if I can get that job in Azerbaijan, I think we'd be in a much better position to maybe win stuff. So we'll hang fire for just a second before we take the Ordino job. We know we've got that in the bag. We have a job. It's a good start. We're just going to go delay just for a week and see what else comes in. We've had another offer from Karadag, who were the one in the top flight of Azerbaijan, which I guess makes them the biggest club we've had. Is that the one that was like top something in the league? Was there a league above that? Oh, there was. The Premiera Lichiazzi, which we don't have in that top thing. Right, so I need to rethink my attack strategy. Did I look at jobs in the Kazakh? I'm sure I looked at all the jobs in the Kazakh Premier League. I did. I went through them and there was nothing there, so that was an issue. And the only other option we had was Belarus. I think we're still up for the Shakhtar. Did we lose that on the Shakhtar Soligorsk job? And I didn't see it. We must have done. So Shakhtar Soligorsk is out of the running for us. Otherwise, there's nothing going in Moldova. I looked at Moldova, and the next biggest is Finland. Nothing going in Finland. And below that would be Armenia, and there was nothing going on. Okay, that's good. That's just good to know. Good for my mental frame of reference, so I know what we're doing. So, no transfer budget, a 7k a week. A 7k a week wage budget. It's not great money, is it? But it is a better job. State of that squad. I've seen Fuggen, and that's telling me they can't play in something, and that terrifies me. Let's have a look at the league rules, because if this is going to tell me I can't play these players in something, that's going to be a concern. Must have no more than 3 non-EU players. Cool. Except Azerbaijan aren't in the EU. Unless I've missed something, Azerbaijan are not in the European Union, which could be an issue, because it means I can only have 3 Azerbaijani players in my squad in Azerbaijan, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to delay that because I need to make sense of that in my head. Also because that was a terrible, terrible offer financially. We'll keep going. We'll see what else comes to us, shall we? So I gave Estrella del Benfica, del Casa, whatever they're called, all the time in the world, all the extra time in the world to make me an offer. And they didn't do it. And I sort of ruled out the job in Azerbaijan in my head already. So the only job we have left is FC Ordino of the Andorran Primera Division, which is interesting. Start date, I mean, there's no point doing that as a start date, bud, because there's no games to be played between now and then. Is this going to be a weird thing where I take this job and there's no games played, so we're not gonna... What? And we can't get relegated. There are no games being played. I don't understand. Can we add a clause for an extra year? Okay. We're going to take this job, but I'm not sure if we're going to get a new contract before the season actually starts. This could be interesting. This could be a bug no one saw happening. Alright, let's see how that goes. We are the new managers of FC Ordino of the Andorran top flight, and I could end up building a squad that I will never, ever, ever have to manage. So, we'll do the in-game introduction, and then I'll do an out-of-game, in-game, in-series introduction, because we may not be here by next episode. Who knows? Who knows how this will go? Right, so we've appointed the club's new manager. Eyebrow's been raised, an experienced 36-year-old, sure to have placed plenty of questions facing the media for the first time at the Centre d'Entraînement de la FAF 1. No, it's in French. I suppose it could be Spanish. Anyway, replacing Manu, Oscar Monteagudo was considered the favourite for the job. I don't know who that is, it won't tell me. But job has come to us, and all their base doth belong to us. So, our upcoming season, they are booked a place in the Primera Division by winning promotion from the Primera Division last season. Cool. Okay, our assistant manager is Massimiliano Galuzzo, who I'm going to assume boldly, I would have said Italian, but Argentine makes sense. He's actually not awful for a club this size. There are some trophies in the trophy cabinet, and that's always good to see. Our starting 11, let's have a little look, see if any of these look any good. We have an Italian, Antonio Rozzi, who, I mean, could be okay. I don't really know this level of football. I'm going to assume that's decent. A 38-year-old Colombian international, Jonathan Estrada, who looks actually pretty decent, so I guess we'll keep him around. Corominas, a Spanish right winger who has no pace whatsoever, probably a striker, I think it's safe to say. Junior, 19-year-old Spaniard, that's always exciting, good determination, maybe we can turn him into a player for us. Rabasso, is he going to be actually Andorran? He's not another Spaniard, 23 years old, and a bit rubbish. João Pedro, Portuguese. There's no one Andorran in this team. Look, well, he's got some pace. He might be the one player in the squad with some pace, so we'll probably have to keep him around. Vargas from Argentina also has some pace, and is fit, and is a good player. Okay, we'll take him. Diarta, I just want one player from Andorra. Mustafa Diarta, a centre-half who can't tackle, has no pace, but he can jump high, just has no stamina. Interesting. Fandinho, he is a Colombian with no pace, no jumping ability, but he can head and he can tackle. Okay, good stuff. Gerardo, which Gerardo? Francisco Gerardo, Spanish right back, some pace. We're definitely playing a formation that relies on the wingers for pace, the fullbacks for pace. That's a thing we've learned. And Luis Ferrero, another Argentine goalkeeper, decent for this level. Okay, cool beans. So players in 23 well in the wage budget. No objectives for us at this time. Avoid relegation, reach the latter stages of the Copa Constitucio, which I'm going to boldly guess is the FA Cup of Andorra. We just hardly expect to avoid relegation by the supporters. We'll do the press conference. I'm not doing a backroom staff meeting every week. Behave yourself. And I think we're probably where we need to be. We've got a youth intake preview already, which is good, because I'm probably going to want some players. How's the youth intake looking? they could be a decent attacking midfielder in the squad, and the rest I don't think we lose any sleep over. Supporter profile, let's have a little look at that. So we've got 13% of a hardcore fan base, moderate influence on the board, 612 social media followers, and 10 season ticket holders. So 13% of our fans are hardcore, 34% are our core fans, 23% family, 11% fair weather fans. I mean, I suppose 1% corporate fans. How do you get corporate fans that are in like this? And 18% casual fans. Tactical direction, I'll work out when I've got some players and indeed a squad, because that squad is thread. There are no Andorran players in my team. Do I have anything? Even if... Oh, there are some Andorran players here. Okay, let's just have a quick shifty at this, because anyone who's got potential, I'm going to move up. Take those guys. There will be an Andorran in my first team squad. That's a good start. And then we'll move these guys up as well. Well, I say move these guys up. We'll move Stanley Fernandez. Why have I got an A team, B team, a C team, and an under 18 team? That's too many squads. Okay, cool. So I'll have a little look at the squad, see what we can do with it, see if there's anything I need to. I mean, there's definitely stuff I need to buy. Let's be completely honest. There's definitely players here I need to buy. Yeah, we'll come back next episode. I'll do a proper intro to Ordino, because I want to find out what this team's about. I want to make sure we've still got the job, because our contract, I want to check that contract, make sure I haven't misread it. It is going to end at the end of this. I'm going to go fairly close to the end of our contract and see if I get a new contract. And if we do get a new contract, I'm going to see, let's start a coaching course, I'm going to see if I can build a squad that will achieve something for us. How are our finances looking? Before we go, 69k in the bank, projected to be painful. Projected to be painful. Excellent. Okay, guys, so join me for the next episode where we'll see if we're still at Ordino, and we'll see what is going to be happening about the first season, hopefully, in Andorra. So if you've enjoyed this, drop a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff. I know this episode is going to be 1 billion hours long. I apologise. Job hunts be like that sometimes. I can't help it. But until next time, I've been chasing Lonely. Do stick around for the journey. It's going to be ridiculous. And until next time, have a good one.